I'm going to turn this Amazon box into a treasure chest. So I start by removing all the little bits and pieces that stick out that would cause texture after I paint it, like these little bits of string left over from the tape. I don't need to remove anything that's smooth, and I especially don't want to remove the bottom piece of tape because the bottom of the box is going to be the bottom of my treasure chest. So leave that tape on, but make sure anything with texture is off. Next, I'm going to cut off the long flaps. I'm going to use these to help make the top of the treasure chest, so I need to cut them off. Nothing exact or precise. None of this whole project is exact and precise. I just need these top flaps of cardboard from both sides. Not the shorter flaps, just these two longer ones right now. The shorter ones we'll get to later. So once I have both flaps cut off, I'm going to slice each of these in half with my box cutter so that I have some long strips of cardboard that are exactly the width of my box. These are going to be the slats on the top of the treasure chest. However, there's not enough just from the two flaps, so I'm using some extra cardboard I have from another Amazon box, a different size one that's bigger. And I'm going to cut these to the right length so I have other pieces for the top of my treasure chest. Again, I'm not measuring. This isn't exact, this isn't precise. This is just making pieces that will go across the top of the treasure chest. Now I'm going to start working on the sides of the top of my box without removing them from the bottom. I need this to make a curve shape for the curve of the treasure chest. So I have this bowl that happens to be exactly the same width, or pretty close, to my Amazon box. You could also use a compass or just freehand draw a circle, but this makes a nice curve just on that flap of the box, the shorter flap. I did it on both sides, and now I'm going to use my box cutter to cut this curve. Cutting curves is the worst on cardboard. So I went slowly and cut the curve. And I did it on both sides of the box. Both flaps now have this nice curve to make my curved treasure chest. Now I need to put the flaps on, and I'm going to use masking tape because masking tape is great. It sticks to the cardboard, but I can also remove it and change it and adjust it as I need. So I'm doing little pieces of masking tape just to attach each of these slats on to this curved edge of my treasure chest. And I'm going to attach all these slots, and so I sped up this video so you can see it quickly done, but hopefully a little less painful than it was for me. Until I get to this very last slot. And there's not enough, it's too big for the space. Silly me, I was going to measure, but no. This project is not about measuring. Quick and easy. I'm just going to mark on here about how big it needs to be because eyeballing it is good enough for a cardboard treasure chest. Once I've measured or marked the spots of how big it needs to be, I'm just going to cut it with my box cutter so I have this nice skinny piece that is about the right size to put on. But this piece takes me forever because I can't reach inside and do it, so I have to adjust and readjust and readjust. Speeding it up a little for you. It finally gets on there and looks great. So now I'm ready to cut the lid off of my treasure chest so that I'll be able to open up the treasure chest. Using my ruler as a straight edge that it was intended for, I slice off both sides, both flaps that are remaining so that the lid comes off of the treasure chest. Now, those little pieces of masking tape are not enough to hold the treasure chest lid together. So this is where the structure comes in. I'm going to use my masking tape now on the inside and go from one curved side of the box all the way over to the other on each of the spaces of the slats. This gives the treasure chest lid structure and strength. It's still not going to be heavy-duty industrial. It is cardboard. But this is also a long, painful part where, with lots of readjusting, changing the slats so they're a little more sturdy, and getting the tape in there between every slat to hold it in place. And more readjusting, making sure the slats are spaced out how I want them. They don't overlap, they're just right next to each other. Again, it's not perfect. It's cardboard. And now that the lid has structure, it's time to put the lid back onto the box. So I'm lining it all up, making sure it all fits, doesn't need any more readjustments. And for my hinge, you guessed it, masking tape. Masking tape will attach the lid to the base of the treasure chest so that the lid can open and close just fine. And it works good enough. Again, not super strong, not super heavy duty, but it is a cardboard treasure chest. So lining up the lid to make sure both sides of the lid match with both sides of the box, that it isn't skewed slightly to the right or left or twisted at all. Again, it's masking tape, so if I need to readjust, I can. So cut your masking tape, try and make the edges on each of the sides straight. Just makes the hinge look a little cleaner. And there's my treasure chest. I'll make sure it opens and closes. I'm going to tighten the tape a little bit here. But it opens and closes well, so now it's time to decorate. I start decorating by painting. I have some leftover wall paint that's in brown. I painted the treasure chest brown and then used a dry brush with some acrylic paint that was a slightly different color to add a little bit of texture and wood grain lines, just dragging the dry brush with a little paint across the treasure chest. After the chest is painted, I use aluminum foil tape. This stuff is awesome. I've used it on furniture and foam projects and other projects. It doesn't look its best on cardboard, but it makes the cardboard look a whole lot better. So I edged all of the treasure chest with aluminum foil tape and then used some rust-colored and texture-colored spray paint to age the treasure chest a little bit so it looks more like it's been undersea. And we glued on some shelves. I used some handles left over from our kitchen remodel project, put those on the side because any real metal or real things you can add to this treasure chest makes it look more realistic. And the best thing I found was this cool skull pirate metal thing at a thrift store. It is perfect for the front. But you could also use a latch or a lock or whatever cool piratey thing you can find. It can be plastic, metal, whatever, you can paint it, but something eye-catching in the front to show that it is a pirate treasure chest. And there's my finished treasure chest, from Amazon box to pirate treasure chest. We used this treasure chest for my daughter's pirate party. The kids went on a escape room-like quest to find the pirate treasure that was buried in our front yard. We put candy jewelry inside the treasure chest, like ring pops and candy necklaces, wrapped the whole thing up in a plastic bag and buried it in our front yard. The kids followed clues and unburied the treasure chest. You can find out more about what we did at that pirate party, plus a bunch of other parties, craft projects, DIY projects, and more at simplepracticalbeautiful.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel and check out lots more of our videos.